The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The black man is capable of managing his own affairs. Always we ask ourselves, why is it that Africa have all these resources yet we are poor? Why can't we move forward? Why are we hungry? Why are we the ones that everybody is saying that we are struggling? And Captain Ibrahim Traore are all in all the savior, the protector, the unifier, the messiah, the king of kings, the most loved, made it clear to us that we cannot have all these things and still be suffering. And for that matter, he has taken the necessary steps to make sure that the African do not lack anything. Burkina Faso has taken full control over their cotton industry, the cotton giant, Sofitex. According to report, this cotton giant industry is worth $607 million US. And this was under somebody's management. How can we develop when other people run everything that has to do with the African? So Captain Ibrahim Traore is taking control. Burkina Faso has just announced it is completely nationalizing Sofitex, the country's dominant cotton company, by buying out all remaining private shareholders. This bold move gives the state full ownership of the firm that produces nearly 80% of Burkina Faso cotton output. This is what we are seeing happening all over Africa, that we have our resources, yet these resources are managed by other people. And the main reason to why these people are not happy when it comes to the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso is that these leaders are making sure that everything that is under the management of the West is nationalized. How can we have gold, we have diamond, we have bauxite, we have everything, yet everything of these is being managed by other people outside? Yet at the end of the day, we sit down and we are talking about how the African will move forward. The African can never move forward when we don't control anything. We can only change the narrative in Africa when we decide to take control over everything that has to do with us. We see our leaders sitting in African Union, in UN, and other places that they get the chance to meet, talking about the African solution to the African problem. You can never change anything in Africa as long as we continue to allow foreigners to manage everything that has to do with the African.
Le Conseil a adopté 2 rapports au titre du ministère de l'Industrie, du Commerce et de l'Artisanat. Le premier rapport est relatif à la nationalisation de la société burkinabé de fibres textiles. Et le deuxième rapport est relatif à l'adoption des statuts particuliers de cette société nouvellement nationalisée. Comme vous le savez, la Sofitex est une société anonyme avec un capital social de 19,5 milliards de francs CFA, détenu à 89% par l'État, 5% par un des démembrements de l'État et 6% par des acteurs privés aussi bien nationaux qu'internationaux. Comme vous le savez, il s'agit d'une société stratégique très importante qui a un impact très important sur plusieurs compartiments de notre activité économique, eu égard donc aux effets de croissance que cette société imprime dans les secteurs du transport, le secteur de l'industrie, le secteur de la commercialisation, des transits et le secteur bancaire. Cette société stratégique, malheureusement, depuis plusieurs années, fait face à de nombreuses difficultés en lien avec le poids de sa dette financière, en lien également aussi avec les charges importantes internes de fonctionnement, en lien avec aussi les retards qu'elle observe souvent dans les paiements des producteurs, mais aussi certains autres paramètres à l'échelle internationale liés au coût des matières premières et des intrants. Et face à ces difficultés qui peuvent impacter négativement sur sa performance, dans un contexte de révolution progressiste populaire, où conformément à la vision du camarade capitaine Ibrahim Traore, et la matière première qu'est le coton devrait jouer un rôle important pour l'industrialisation de notre pays, le gouvernement a décidé en toute responsabilité d'engager des réformes hardies pour permettre à la société de retrouver toutes ses performances à travers un plan de résilience. À cet effet, au cours de ce conseil, le gouvernement a décidé de nationaliser les parts des actions détenues préalablement par les privés afin d'y être le seul actionnaire à 100% propriétaire de cette société et d'y mettre toutes les ressources qui s'y est en termes d'investissement et de réorganisation du fonctionnement de cette société pour qu'elle puisse jouer pleinement son rôle d'exportateur premier de coton de notre pays, mais aussi de l'Afrique dans son entièreté. D'où l'adoption de ces deux décrets qui permettront donc d'aboutir donc à cet objectif fixé par le gouvernement.
This is the time the African must take control over its future. They can never tell us that we are not capable of managing our own affairs. It's just that these are the people who are not allowing the African to manage his or her own affairs. That is the reason to which any leader that will rise up in Africa, they go after that person. We've seen what they have done to Nkrumah, Sankara, Muammar Gaddafi, the recent one. So they are the ones that are making sure the African never owns anything. The government says the takeover is necessary because Sofitex, rising debt, falling production, and serious insufficiency. This is part of Captain Ibrahim Traore's aggressive strategy to seize greater state control over key sectors, following similar moves in the gold mining industry to boost public revenue and to put national interest first. These people who come into the continent to invest is not because they love you. They are always here to invest, to change the narrative in our continent, like Botswana President Duma Boko said. They are here because there is money here. They are here because of their interests. They are never here because we are so good and they love us to the point that they don't know what to use their money for. Like they always project anybody that is looking for something in Africa, especially the NGOs, will find something to claim that they are here to help us. There's no water here, so for that matter, they are here to help the people. But at the end of the day, the videos, the pictures that these people take back home, they make millions out of it. They always use these things to get money. So these NGOs and these people who claim they are into the continent to change the narrative in Africa are not here the way they always present the issue. And we should understand that if Africa will become a better place, it is you and I who can make it better. And we can only make it better when we own the narrative. Until our leaders stop talking, giving us speeches from one place to the other, and start acting, like Julius Maada Bio said, this is the time that we need to take control over our own security. This is the time we need to take control over everything that has to do with the African. And not because we do not want partnership, but because we do not want to be managers of our own things. And that is what is happening. Our leaders claim they are the leaders of the continent, yet they are only managing the fence because people own everything that is here. When these people come into the continent, like Julius Maada Bio said, they always come and then they do things without even adding us. They don't consult us. So at the end of the day, we are just like an agency that they need a manager to come and take control over their affairs when they are not here. So this chain, we need to break away from it. And our leaders always know what to do in speech. And so these leaders, to make sure that they work with the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to change the narrative in the continent. Our leaders are still sitting here pointing fingers at these leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, like Julius Maada Bio at Dakar saying the same thing, that you have the same regional bloc and we have two different governance systems. Some are practicing democracy and democracy is retrogressing instead of it's improving. One thing our leaders must understand, if they continue to be preaching democracy and their only aim is to make sure democracy sustains in Africa, Africa will never move anywhere because this is oppressors' rule, and we must also prove to these people that before they came into the continent, we have our own rule. And if we claim we are independent people, we should have a way, because we have practiced this system for a very long time. We are not seeing anything good out of it. So why must we continue to be holding on to the system that was given to us and we are practicing it without any outcome? Why should we do that? So the leaders must learn from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. It's because they are out of the system called democracy. That is the reason to which they are able to do all these things. And even one time, Duma Boko also said it, that the reason to which our leaders are able to decide things and they are working or they are able to do it because they are out of the system. But where they are, the system will cripple you because you have to move from here, there. At the end of the day, you end up doing nothing and your time will be up. So we are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.